everyone. Welcome to Firewall Analyzer Free Training Part 2. A short introduction about myself. Hey everyone, I'm Vikram, subject matter expert in enterprise security management, and I'll be your presenter for today. All right. So before we start the session, let us look at what we are going to cover in today's session. So first, we'll be looking at why we need log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer. Next, we'll look at some of the basics of the tool, such as the steps to fetch the firewall logs and an overview on the reports that are generated. And after the report overview, we'll dive into the use cases on how to look at the various reports, such as your VPN reports, traffic reports, security reports, and custom reports, in addition to search reports. So finally, after all of these reports, we are also going to cover how to set alarm notifications for the various triggers. Right. So let us address the most important question in hand, that is, why log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer? Network and network security landscape is rapidly changing, and to stay ahead of this change, security admins are working around the clock to install new security devices like your IDS, IPS, proxy, and even VPN over and above the existing firewall. However, this hasn't deterred the cyber criminals, and they're only finding new ways and different segments to attack every day. So this raises a serious question. Does simply adding multiple network security devices protect a network from security breaches? Evidently not. So the answer to this is you need a tool which monitors all your network security devices and also periodically identifies internal and external threats on a real-time basis. Introducing Firewall Analyzer. This is a policy, log, and configuration monitoring tool which helps in log analysis. That is, it helps to generate in-depth log reports which you can keep track of your security and traffic logs. It has alarm management, which helps you to notify about security and bandwidth anomalies in real time. And then it has inventory reports which contain details about each individual firewall devices and all their performance metrics. And you also have rule management. That is, this feature helps you to manage all the firewall rules in addition to optimizing their performance. And finally, you have the configuration monitoring and backup module. So this helps you to identify any configuration changes that has happened in your network, and it helps you to pinpoint who, what, and when those changes were made. And additionally, it also helps you to take a backup of your configurations, which will save you in case of a network disaster or in case you want to roll back to a previous configuration version. And finally, you have compliance management, which helps you to identify firewall misconfigurations with its out-of-the-box network security compliance report, such as your GDPA, GLBA, GDPR, Basel II, PCI DSS, etc. So these are what Firewall Analyzer is capable of. And in today's session, we're exclusively going to cover the log analysis, alarm management, and finally the inventory reports in detail. In the previous session that happened last week, we had already covered the rule management, config monitoring, compliance management, and the configuration backup features of the tool. So in case you have missed or have not attended the last session, do not worry, I'll be sending a recording of the previous session as well, in addition to this session's recording after this webinar is completed, so that you can have a look at it as well. All right, so let us look at some of the basic installation and configuration requirements to fetch firewall logs into Firewall Analyzer. So the first step would be to install the tool, that is to install Firewall Analyzer on your system. And the installation requirements will be shared with you, or you can even check them out directly on our website. And once you have installed the tool, the second step you need to do would be to fetch the firewall logs. So to set up your firewall logs, you need to configure your firewall device to send its syslogs via to UDP port 1514. In case UDP port 1514 is not free, an alternate free port needs to be selected. And once the Firewall Analyzer is installed, Firewall Analyzer must be directed to receive the syslogs from this new port. And Firewall Analyzer by default listens to the syslogs forwarded to port 1514. All right. So in addition to that, there are 3 ways to export the syslogs to Firewall Analyzer. And as mentioned in the previous session, as mentioned earlier, the first way would be to configure your firewall devices to send syslogs to default listener port 1514. The second way is to import the firewall logs and rule files. And the third method would be to manually add your firewall device, and this manual device addition does not require any syslogs. It just needs your device name and IP address. So those are the three ways in which a device can be added to device rule, and we had covered this in detail in the previous session. All right, so in the next step, so once the syslogs are forwarded, once you have set up your device to Firewall Analyzer, the tool starts to generate various reports, and these reports include your security, VPN, and bandwidth reports. And in addition to that, you can also start triggering alarm notifications for any and all anomalies that you notice in your network. All right, so Firewall Analyzer provides a wide range of reports, and this includes VPN reports, which provide a detailed VPN analysis that can help you to plan your VPN bandwidth and capacity. And then you have firewall reports. So this is a combination of firewall security and traffic analytics that gives you an overview of how your network is in terms of security and traffic. And then you have dashboard and inventory report. So these reports give you a high-level overview on all the firewall stats. And fourth, you have the proxy server report. So these are reports that are generated by analyzing the Squid proxy servers. And fifth, you have custom reports. So in case you are not happy with any of the predefined reports that are currently available in the tool, we have the option of allowing you to create custom reports. So here you can choose any field of your choosing, any column of your choosing, mix match, and get a unique report that suits your requirement. So that is possible as well. And finally, we have the search report. So these search reports, they help you to perform forensic log analysis, and we'll be covering that in depth during the course of this webinar as well. So these are the set of reports that becomes available to you once your Firewall Analyzer is configured and the devices, your firewall devices, have started exporting their syslogs to the device, to the tool. All right. So ever since the pandemic, the work environment as we know no longer exists. And to cope, companies have moved to a hybrid work landscape, which is a combination of work from home and work from office. However, as a security admin, this poses a lot of security and bandwidth issues. In today's use case, wherever applicable, we will cover security and bandwidth management for your VPN infrastructure in detail. So those who attended the previous webinar, they'll know who Jim is. And for people who are freshly joined the session, Jim is a security admin, and his company has adopted a hybrid work approach. And let us look into the various security and bandwidth issues faced by Jim and how he uses Firewall Analyzer to overcome these issues. All right. So most organizations are moving towards a work culture where employees have the freedom to work from any place they want. And for this environment to be successful, many organizations have installed a dedicated virtual private network. However, the very same VPN connections that enable the employees to work from remote locations can also lead to a security lapse if it's not monitored. So this makes VPN traffic monitoring one of the most important functions for any network security administrator. Firewall Analyzer generates in-depth VPN reports, which helps you to identify and track the amount of traffic that is consumed by the VPN users. It helps you to identify the number of users that are connected to your VPN. It helps you to monitor active VPN user sessions and also the bandwidth that has been consumed. And finally, it also helps you to track the VPN consumption and also draw up on consumption trends. So let me take you to the product to show this to you in working. So for that, I'm taking you to a setup that I had created in advance. All right, so to access the VPN report, simply go to reports and select VPN reports. All right, and over here, you choose the device for which you want this data. And in my case, I'm choosing all of my devices. And I'm choosing to have this data for the past 30 days. All right. All right. So here are the various VPN reports that are available. You have VPN active reports, VPN sessions, user, top users, and all of that is available. So I'll be walking you through the course, through all of these reports during the course of this webinar. So simply to highlight a few, here we have top users that gives you data on how many times someone is connected to the VPN. And then here you have VPN overview that tells you what are the devices that are used to connect to the VPN. And you also have VPN trend reports, and you also have active VPN trend reports. So I'll be covering all of that in this session, right? So taking you back to the PPT. It's moving on to the first case. So this is some of one of the series of tasks that is assigned to Jim. And the first task is as follows. So the company in which Jim has joined, they want him to identify which users are currently logged into the VPN. So this is especially useful to check if the employees are logging into the company server and also to check their activity status. So let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, again, I'm taking you back to the product. All right, so Jim has to identify all the active VPN users. And for this purpose, we have a dedicated VPN report. So under reports, you go to VPN reports and you click on active VPN users. All right. So here you get a list of all the users who are currently active. And in addition to the user list, you also get additional information such as the assigned IP, start time, duration, and the device during which VPN was accessed and the device which was used to access the VPN. So all of that is available. So with this information, Jim has a clear understanding as to who has been logged in, who has been active, and you can also schedule this data in the form of a report and have it sent to any management. And you can, in case you want to have this done at a repetitive angle, then you can schedule it so that it gets sent to you, to the responsible individuals on a repetitive basis. To schedule this, you'll simply have to select the schedule option that is over here. And let me call this VPN report. And you can select the devices for which you want this data. Click on next and choose the format in which you want this data. And choose the frequency. Say on 18th of every month, time, and generate report for the previous month. You hit on next and choose the notification. Do you want it via email? Enable it and simply give this an email address. Choose a subject name, and in case you have a note, you can add that over here and you hit on save, and you will create a report for this particular VPN data, and that will be sent to the respective email address on a repetitive basis. All right, so moving back. Right, so now we move on to the next use case, and this is where the management wants to know the complete VPN activity of all the employees. So this includes not only the ones who are currently active, but also the ones who have completed their sessions. And in addition to that, the management also wants Jim to send them this report on a weekly basis. So let's see how Jim does this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, I'm taking it back to the tool, and to view the entire list of VPN activity, you simply go on and choose the next report, which would be the VPN sessions. So in active VPN users, it gave you a list of all the active sessions. However, the VPN sessions report, this one will give you a list of active as well as users whose sessions have been completed. All right. So here you can see all of those data, and the ones that are marked in green, like this one, for example, are the ones that are still active. And the ones that are marked in green are the ones who have completed their session. So with this, you get to know the duration of someone that has been connected to the VPN, and you can also view the amount of data that they have consumed when they have been connected to the VPN. And all of that is available over here. So in case you want to have this report scheduled on a weekly basis, simply go to the schedule option and give this VPN report a name. We call this weekly report. Go to next, and over here you have to choose the weekly option. So this will help you to choose a day on which you will regularly get this report generated and sent out to you. So configuring this is same as the steps that I showed when configuring a monthly report. So in addition to this, if you want to download this report as a one-time event, you'll simply have to click on these buttons. So here you have the option to download this report in the form of a PDF, CSV, and XLS. All right, so moving on. So now that we move on to the third use case, let us look at what the company wants. So the company Jim is working for, they want to know that a majority of the resources, the majority of the employees working in the company, they're joining the VPN network, and they have taken it upon themselves to look at it and plan their bandwidth and allocate it accordingly. Say, for example, if a single employee is hogging all the bandwidth, is taking all the bandwidth, so this would give a bad experience for the other employees. So as a third task, Jim has been asked to identify more details on user activity and connection trend. And also he wants, the company wants him to schedule this report. So let me take you to the product to show that to you in working. All right. So to get a list of all the users who have been consuming a large amount of VPN connected data, you simply go to the top users under the same report, VPN report. And here you get a list of all the users, how many times they have connected, how much bandwidth they have consumed, and the duration in which they have consumed. All of this is available. So with this, Jim can get a clear understanding of the top users, how many times they have connected to the VPN, the bandwidth consumed, and all of this can be scheduled on a weekly, monthly, or a daily basis. So that is available as well. So in case you want to look at this visualization at different dynamics, that is also possible. Simply click on the different options that are available to get the respective visualization. All right, so moving on. So now that Jim has completed his third task, he's moving on to the next task, which would be for Jim to identify the active VPN connection count. And they want this for a specific firewall. So why does Jim's company need him to do this? Most devices offer limited number of VPN connections. And as the number of connections go up, the cost goes up along with it. Hence, it is extremely critical to plan the VPN connection capacity on the dot. Purchasing excess capacity would result in unnecessary IT spend, and purchasing lesser capacity would result in performance and productivity issues. Hence, Jim needs to monitor the connections for a specific firewall. So let us look at how Jim does this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, I'm taking you back to the tool. And to view this report, you simply go down, scroll down, and select VPN overview. All right. So here, let's say, for example, you want to view this data only for a select device and not for all the devices. From all devices, you will have to go on and select any specific device that you want to get this data. And here you can see that the maximum number of devices active for my FortiGate device would be around 1. So let's say, for example, that this session count is around 5. Okay, let's say this is 5. And let's also say that you have planned only for a maximum connection of around 3. So this becomes a problem because at a single time, there are going to be at least around 5 people who are going to be active. And this will become an issue since you only planned for 3. So with this report, you can get a clear understanding as to how many connections you need to optimally have in your infrastructure to make sure that you have a seamless VPN experience. All right. So the next task that is allocated to Jim is to identify the failed VPN login attempts. So in Jim's company, let's say that a lot of employees are complaining that they did not log in on any particular day since they were unable to do so. So hence, Jim has been asked to proactively reach out to these employees, look out for the issues that they are facing, and fix these failed logins. Hence, since this will not only help increase the productivity, but also help in identifying multiple login attempts. So given that people are working from home, some people are working from home or away from office, you don't know if your Wi-Fi is compromised or if someone is trying to enter into your enterprise network using the VPN. So once again, this is an important thing to keep track of, that is failed VPN login attempts. So let me take you back to the product to show this to you in working. All right. So to access this particular data, you will have to go to VPN reports. That is over here. All right. So here you have something called top failed VPN users. And let me choose to have this data for all of my firewall devices. All right. So here, when you scroll down, you can see that this particular person that I have created for this demo, Michael Jackson, he's had 1 hit. And because of this, he's been unable to log in. As in, he's made 1 attempt to try to log in, and he has not had any success so far. So in the cases of multiple users, and you have someone who's been repeatedly trying to log in, you'll get a bigger number here. Let's say someone is trying to log in for around 10 times in the morning. You'll get 10. You'll get hit number 10 over here. So with this, you can understand that any particular user is facing an issue when they're trying to log in, and you can reach out to them and try to understand if they're facing any internet connectivity issues, or is it a VPN issue, or whatever issue that they're facing, and get it resolved. So with this report, you can quickly identify which user is facing issues when they're trying to log in and get in touch with them and fix it ASAP. All right. So moving on. So now that a lot of employees are accessing the company's network via the VPN network, for device and bandwidth allocation purposes, it becomes extremely important that Jim identifies the busiest hour and the leanest hour and plan the VPN infrastructure accordingly. So for example, let's say that there is going to be a product release, and let's say that this product release happens the second week of every month. And what is eventually going to happen is, whenever this product release is happening, a lot of people will try to log in and connect to the VPN. But given that if you do not understand this trend, then there is going to be a problem, since there will be a spike in the VPN activity during those times. And if it is unaccounted for, it would result in an impact in the employee productivity. So let us look at how Jim gets these active trend VPN reports using the Firewall Analyzer tool. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product. And over here, you go to reports, and under VPN reports, scroll down and you choose VPN trend reports. All right. So here you get the daily, the weekly, and you also get the monthly and also yearly data of your VPN trend requests. So in the daily report, you can also check when there are more number of requests for VPN connections or when there are less number of requests. So as you can see from this report, at around 1200 hours, you have around 6 people logging in, and this number goes down at around 1400 hours, where there's only 1 person logging in using the VPN, and at around 1700 hours, which is 5 p.m. in the evening, there are around 5 people. So when you do not understand this trend and you have only planned for a lesser number of VPN connection capacities, the people who are logging in and giving you a spike in your data trend will have a problem in connecting to your network. I'm going to move ahead. Right. So going to the next slide on my presentation. So after VPN reports, the next report that we are going to be looking at is VPN Analyzer, is Firewall Analyzer reports. And Firewall Analyzer reports in general, they can be classified into two, which would be security analytics and traffic analytics. So in this slide, we'll be covering the security analytics in detail. So till date, employees have been protected by the office network security devices, and their strict compliance to various security mandates. So even if an attacker tries to penetrate the network where an employee is working from, a combination of smart security monitoring and remediation by the IT admin has always protected the enterprise from attacks. However, with the adoption of work from anywhere, this is no more the case. And hackers have quickly understood the situation, and they are trying to make attempts to get into the network by finding the remote employees as an easy target. And with this, they eventually get their hands on your enterprise data. Hence, it is extremely critical to closely monitor all the security logs for any anomalies or disruptions. Firewall Analyzer provides a detailed security reports on your attack reports and virus reports. It gives you in-depth information on the top security events and denied events. It also has a list of top spam generators, and it also classifies any failed logon details for you to take a look at. So let us take a look at how this looks like in the product UI. So for this, I'm taking you back to the product. And over here, you go to reports, and under reports, you go to firewall reports. All right, let's give this a few seconds. Right, so now I have the data for all of my firewall devices, and I'm getting this data for the past 30 days. All right, so firewall reports, as you know, is a combination of traffic as well as security reports. And if you scroll down, you can find the security reports over here. And for security, we have the overview security report, we have virus reports, attack reports, spam reports, and you also have event trend reports. So with this, you get an understanding as to what are the security issues, what specific destination or which specific host is facing an issue, or in case of any specific IP or any specific protocol is used to mount an attack. You will get to know all of this information from the security report itself. So let me take you back to the deck to show you a use case for this. Right? And this is a use case for security reports. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks happening in Jim's company. And the frequency of this attack has gone up, especially since now that not all of the employees are working from the office. And this results in an increase in the dangers of network security issues that a company is facing. And Jim's company want to know which protocol is being used by the hackers to try to hack into the network. So they want him to compile a list of attacks that are happening on the network so that they can take adequate measures to prevent that from happening. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. All right, so taking you back to the product. So to view this, you will have to go to security reports, firewall reports, and under firewall reports, you go on and select the attack report. And the GIMS company want to know which type of attack is happening, and they also want to know what type of protocol is being used to mount this attack. All right, so here we have this data, right? So here you have something called, you scroll down, you have top attackers, top targets, and here you have the top protocols used by attacks. And here you can get a clear understanding of the type of protocol that is used to mount the most number of attacks. So here you can see that FTP protocol is used by several by this particular person to get around 23 attempts. They're trying to get into the network by using this. So to get more information, you simply click on that and you'll be taken to a detailed window where all the data pertaining to this particular attack is drilled down and available for you. So with this data, you can clearly get an understanding of what protocols are being used by hackers or attackers to mount attacks, and that would be very helpful to carry out countermeasures in the future. All right, that is a use case for security reports. So next, we're going to look at traffic analytics, which would be the second part of our firewall reports. All right, so now that we have covered security reports, we're moving on to say traffic analytics. So under traffic analytics, you get the detailed traffic report usage on the different protocols, applications, cloud services, internet, and intranet. Apart from this, you also get a trend report on the various traffic and events. So let us look at how this looks like in the product UI. So for this, I'm taking you back to the product. And as you guessed, the scroll up and here you can see the traffic reports towards the beginning of firewall reports. So let's click on that and give it a few seconds to load. All right, so here you have all the traffic data, and you also, in addition to the traffic data over here in this first section, you also have additional data such as your protocol usage, your web usage, mail usage, FTP usage, and you even have internet and intranet reports. So with these reports, Jim can easily identify if there are any issues with respect to the traffic or if any specific user is hogging all of the bandwidth. And he can also find the amount of traffic that is consumed by certain users. Over here, you simply have to scroll down and here you can see the top host. And this includes the sent plus received count. And over here, you can see which users are consuming the most amount of data. You can see the hits, the number of data that they have received, sent, and also the sum of all of that. So all of this is available with the click of a button. And with this, you can also understand which user is consuming the most amount of data. And if it is out of the ordinary, you can directly get in touch with them and understand why their usage has spiked over this particular period of interval. All right, so moving back to the deck. So next we're going to look at the dashboard and inventory reports. So the dashboard is nothing but an aggregated report, and it helps you by providing you the firewall overview report, which is nothing but a high-level overview of the firewall traffic statistics, security statistics, and their system's performance. And then you have live traffic report, which gets you the live traffic data throughout the individual firewalls. And then you have VPN reports, which provides active VPN user list and VPN usage details. And fourth, you have the users, rules, cloud services, and also you get an overview of all of the rules that are in the firewall and the users and the cloud services that are accessed by the subsequent users. So let me take you to the product to show you dashboard and how it is in working. So going back to the product, so to access the dashboard, you simply click on the dashboard button that is present in the top left corner. And under dashboard, you have something called overview, and under overview, you have two basic reports. So the first one would be the firewall summary, which is selected and displayed on the screen right now. So this is a high-level overview of all the traffic and security statistics. So you can get all of that data over here. And we have the system performance, which provides an overview of the CPU utilization. It provides an overview of CPU utilization, disk space monitoring, logs per second, DB connection count, thread count, and all of that data. So in addition to the two overview reports, we also have live traffic report, which gives you the live traffic data through individual firewalls. And then you have cloud control, which provides information on the usage statistics for various cloud platforms, and this includes file sharing, social media services, business services, cloud applications, and also other cloud applications. And in addition to that, you also have user count. It gives you how much data each person has consumed, how much cloud usage has happened, and then you have VPN. So it provides the active VPN user list, VPN usage details and stuff. And then you have rule management, you have security details, standards, and all of that are available for you. So in case you want to create your own customized dashboard, that is possible as well. And to do that, you go to custom dashboard, click on create new, and give this new dashboard a name, and choose the widget. That is, widget is each section that has the data that you want. So choose any number of widgets that you want. Once you're done with that, simply hit next, and then here you can choose who has access to view all of your dashboards. So this particular dashboard can be restricted and given access only to any particular admin. Let's say you have an admin who's working in the morning shift and another admin who's working in the night shift. So you can create different dashboard views for each of the admins so that they don't get to see the data of the other firewall and its performance. So here you can do that as well using this dashboard. So you give access and you hit on create, and that gets created, and here you have the new dashboard, the custom dashboard that I just created. All right, so now we're going to look at the inventory report, and in the inventory report you can see that we have data on the devices. That is, it denotes each firewall device that is configured in your firewall analyzer, and then you have interfaces. So all the interfaces that are connected to your configured firewall device, and you can also see the users who have generated traffic via the configured firewall device, cloud users, rule usage in your firewall. So all of that report is available as well. So let me take you to the product to show that to you in working. And to access the inventory report, you go on and click the inventory icon. And over here you can see the devices. That is the list of each device that is configured in Firewall Analyzer, and interface, all the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall device, the users who have generated traffic via the configured firewall device, and the cloud services which have been used via the configured firewall device, and finally the rules that have been triggered in specific firewalls. All right, so we're going on to the next deck in my presentation, and this would be another use case. And let's say that in Jim's company, a lot of attacks have been taking place using a single firewall. So Jim has been asked to identify everything about the attacks that are originating from that single firewall. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, I'm taking you back to the product. And to view data pertaining to a single firewall, I'm going to take you to the inventory report. And let's assume that all these attacks are coming from this particular FortiGate firewall. So I'm going to select that, and over here, you can see you have the overview information, the summary information of this particular firewall device. And in addition to that, you can also explore the bandwidth that has been consumed by this particular, through this particular firewall device. And you can see the top 10 hosts and destinations, in addition to external sites, protocol groups, and all of those informations, conversations, etc. And here you can see the sites that have been active. And here you can view the applications that have been triggered, and here you can see their rule information, the security information, VPN information. So what interests us would be the security section, and over here you'll get a list of all the top attacks, top denied hosts, and even the top denied destinations, along with top spam and denied user logon. So with this data, Jim can understand where a particular attack has originated, where it is getting triggered, and with which IP is facing an issue, and he can take proactive measures to fix all of these. Right. So moving on, next we're going to look at the Firewall Analyzer's capability of monitoring Squid proxy servers and their syslogs. So with the Squid proxy servers, we are currently able to monitor their URL reports, monitor and generate URL reports, top talkers report, website details report, and also proxy usage report. So let me quickly take you to the product to show that to you in working. And over here to access this, you go to reports and you click on proxy reports. All right, so here, post fetching data, Firewall Analyzer will automatically identify its proxy server and generate this data. And over here, for any proxy device, you can view a URL report, proxy usage, website details, top talkers, and all of those information. Right, so let me take you back to the PPT. Right. So let us look at a use case for proxy reports, and here it goes. So let's say that Jim has been asked to identify if there are any proxy attacks happening in the system, and if that is the case, then they want to find out the source of these attacks. So to view that, let me take you to the product, and under proxy you go to website details. So here you have a separate report called the proxy virus report, which would be over here, proxy virus report. And here you can get a detailed information of all the proxy virus attacks that has happened, and you also get details as to which is the host, what is the count, and what is the hit percentage. So once Jim sees this, he can block the host or quarantine the specific destination to make sure that those attacks don't happen in the future. So in addition to proxy report, we also have something called the country report. So this helps you to view the traffic through which country has received traffic for around 30 days and through which firewall that traffic has actually happened. So this, you get this data. And in case you want to have this in the form of a table, that is possible as well. So you get all of these information. All right, so moving on. Next, we're going to look at custom reports. So in case any of the predefined reports do not satisfy your needs, we have the option of creating your own customized reports. So let's say that let's throw in a unique case scenario. Let's say that Jim has been asked to identify which users have logged in via the VPN, and he's been specifically instructed to exclude all of the C-level executives. That is, the upper management needs to be excluded when this particular VPN usage list is generated. So let us look at how Jim creates his own custom report for this unique requirement using the tool and satisfies the upper management's request. So to access the custom report, go to reports and select custom reports. So to create a new report, simply click on add report profile. All right, so here let us call this let us call this new VPN report. And once again, the requirement would be for Jim to exclude all of the upper management. So to do the excuse me. So to do that, I'm going to select filter option and add a specific filter for this purpose. I'm going to hit on add. And over here, I'm going to choose the exclude filter. So what this does is, whatever you enter here will be included if you choose the included filter. And if you choose exclude filter, any data that is specific here will be excluded. So let me call this C-level filter. C-level filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exclude a certain IP range. So let us say my upper management are using this IP, and there are around 10 of them. So let's say that this is the IP range which I want to exclude when I'm generating this report. So I'm going to hit add and add that to my criteria. And if I have these users configured to the tool, I can add them directly from here itself. But since that's not the case, I am adding the IP address that is mentioned over here. So I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see, the filter that I just created is present over here. So in case I want to modify that filter, you do that using the edit option. So in addition to filter, I'm also going to add a specific type of report. In case I want to choose any of the existing report, that is also possible. So here we have several predefined report. So in case I want to do that, I can select them from over here. However, if I want to create a new report, I can do that. And to do that, simply click on add report and give this report a name. Let's call this C-level report. And this is going to be, let's say it's based on a VPN based report, and I'm going to have graph or table. I can choose the visualization option over here. So let me go with graph, and I'm going to choose in a vertical bar chart or any of those customizations. And this is going to x-axis is going to be my VPN, sum of bytes receive. I'm going to hit OK. So here you can see that the new report that I have created has been added over here. And once that is done, if I want to schedule this report to reach my inbox on a recurring basis, I can do that over here. So simply I'll have to enable or disable this option, fill in the recurring time frame. And if I have to send this as an email, I can do that over here. Simply after I've configured my mail server notification, I can enter those details over here and hit on save. And here you can see that the new VPN report that I created has been added to the list of customized reports that are currently available. Just moving back to the deck. So next we're going to look at the search report, and Firewall Analyzer has two types of searches. So the first search would be the aggregated logs. So this provides information based on specific criteria over a period of time, hence aggregated. And then we have raw search. So this provides forensic log analysis from multiple activities. So let us see a use case for these reports. All right. So let's say that we have a user who goes by the name Tom, a single user, and he's been hogging all the bandwidth, and Jim has been asked to generate a report on exactly how much that particular user is consuming and the various other details about that one particular single user. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. And for this, I am going to take you back to the product, and over here, I'm going to take you to the aggregated search. So to access that, simply go to search, click on aggregated search. Right. So here, let's say that the user is Tom. I'm gonna hit generate and get all of those information. So with this aggregated search report, you can now identify how much bandwidth this particular person, Tom, has consumed. Here you get all the details over here. So here you can see the URL details, allowed categories, denied categories, VPN usage, conversation details, rules, trigger analysis. So all of the information pertaining to this particular single user is available over here. So in addition to this, you also have one more use case, and this is a use case for the raw search. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks on Jim's network, and now that a lot of employees are working away from office, the network is especially vulnerable to attacks. Hence, Jim has been asked to identify all the virus attacks that are happening in the system. So let us look at how Jim identifies this excuse me, using Firewall Analyzer's raw search function. So for this, I'm taking you back to the product. And to access this, you go to search, you click on raw search. And let's say that our requirement is to look at the attacks that has happened. So I'm going to select only my attack logs, and I'm going to choose my requirement as virus, isn't none. So I'm going to hit generate. And once you hit generate, you get a list of all the virus attacks that has happened in the network. And you also get a drill down. There is a raw logs of the specific log that was responsible for this attack. So after figuring out what the issue is, if you want to mine and check the issue, that is also possible. And this is very useful for forensic log analysis. Right. So now we have come to the final section of this webinar, and we'll be looking at the alarm notification feature. So this is a very useful feature, and it helps you to identify security events in real time. And in Firewall Analyzer, we can configure three types of alarm profiles, which would be the normal alert, that is a real-time alert for a specific activity. And then you have anomaly alert, which is usually used when you want to notify about an event over a period of time. And finally, you have threshold alert or bandwidth alert, which alerts you when you cross a specific bandwidth threshold. So all the alarms have been seen in the you can view all of the alarms that are seen in the alarm section in the product UI itself. And in the product UI itself. And all these alerts can be notified directly to you via email. You can have it notifying you via SMS, or you can even the tool to run a script when a particular alarm violation has happened. So in addition to these three, you also have several other options, such as you have web alarms. You have the option to integrate with other tools like ServiceNow or Service Desk Plus, and you can instantly raise a ticket to your agent using that tool. So all of that is available, and I'll be showing you a demo of that in the product UI. So before that, let me show you how our alarm window looks like. And for this, you simply hit on alarm, click alarm, and over here you can see all of the alarms that has been triggered in the tool. So here you get details on the alarms based on severity, and as you can see, we have color coded severity. Red denotes critical, orange denotes trouble, and you also have yellow that denotes attention, and finally you have purple which denotes service down. So all the alerts that are triggered, alarms that are triggered, are color coded for easier identification. All right, so let us quickly look at a use case for alarm profiles. Right. So let's say that the company which is following a hybrid work is experiencing a significant attacks in the form of ARP attacks. So let's say that large number of ARP attacks are happening, and the company wants Jim to identify these attacks at the very inception. So hence, for this purpose, they have asked Jim to set an alarm notification when 5 ARP attacks happen within a span of 10 minutes. So let us look at how Jim uses Firewall Analyzer to create this unique alarm profile. So to create a unique alarm profile, you go to settings, and under settings, you go to others, and you go to alarm profiles. But before that, if you want to get notified via any unique method, you can add that over here. So to add a new notification template, click on add, and here you can see the list of alarm notifications that we have. And to list a few, we have email based SMS, chat, run a program, log a ticket, and several others. So to explore them in detail, I would implore you to check out our demo.fwanalyzer.com. So here we have all of these for your reference. And in case you have any questions, you want to know, let's say you're using Service Desk Plus, or you're using ServiceNow, or you want to know if we support any other ticketing tool, you can ask us in the chat panel. We have a panelist who's waiting to answer all your questions. All right. So now that you have configured your notification template, let me take you back to the section where we configure an alarm profile for ARP attacks. So to do this, simply go to alarm profiles and click on add. All right. So since this is a specific alarm, we need to create an alarm profile. So to do this, starting with, you give this ARP, give this profile a name, and let's leave it at alarm, a normal alert. And I want this alert for all of my firewall devices, not just one or two. And once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and click on custom, and select this as match all of the following, and I'm going to choose virus or attack contains ARP. So once that is done, then I get to choose the threshold. So here I'm going to set it to critical, and I'm going to set it to alert me for every 5 events that is generated in span of 10 minutes. And I can assign this to anyone else. So this is one of the user that I have configured. So I can assign it to Steve in case he's the current admin who's looking after the network. And you can have this data for all of this this alarm for all the selected devices. And you can choose how to get notified. And here I have chosen web alarm for my purpose. I'm going to hit save. So here you can see the ARP alarm over here. All right, so that is how you configure an alarm profile. So let me take you back to the deck. Right, so we have come to the final use case for the day. And let's say that it has been noted that a specific user has been clogging a major part of the bandwidth. And now that VPN bandwidth availability is constrained due to the limited availability, since there are a large number of employees using it, so Jim has been assigned an additional task, that is to trigger an alarm notification if an employee, let's say he goes by the name John, he consumes more than 1 GB of data in 1 hour. And let's say that the application he's using to consume this is YouTube. Let's say he's been watching a lot of football games, or he's been binge watching a lot of TV series on YouTube. So the company is against this, and they want to restrict John's usage of the application YouTube. So for this purpose, they want Jim to set up this particular alarm profile, so that every time a particular threshold is crossed, an alarm is raised, and people can confront Jim and ask him about his network consumption activity. All right, so let's look at how Jim sets this in the product UI. For this, you go back to the tool, and again back to the alarm profile window, and you click on add. And here, let's give this profile name John alert, and I'm going to select anomaly. Since this is an alert over a period of time, we are selecting the anomaly alert. So all All right, so once that is done, here let me go with the predefined report and traffic report, and this is during working hours. And let's say that the user is John and the application is YouTube. And you scroll down, and if you have to select, if you have employees across the globe and you want to create a customized country-based or a destination country-based report, you can do that over here. All right, so let's look at the threshold details. So in a period of 1 hour, if the total traffic of all or this particular user, since we have already selected John over here, you can go ahead with all, exceeds 1 GB of data, you will get an alert. You'll get an attention alert, and that will be assigned to the main admin. And this check will happen every 15 minutes. And on every first occurrence of this violation, you'll be notified. And I'm gonna once again set the web alarm notification for this. I'm gonna hit save. Right here you can see John alert is populated over here, and here you can see the attention alert. Normally type web alarm. So in case you do not want to have this alerts, let's say that John is away for a week, and in case you do not want this, or he's working on a particular video edit, and in that case the data consumption actually goes up. So in those cases you want to disable this report, simply use this toggle to disable it so that you will not be getting any false positives. So to summarize, Firewall Analyzer is a policy configuration monitoring tool, and it helps you to identify your policy anomalies, unused rules and object. It also helps you to perform in-depth rule impact analysis for any proposed new rule, and it helps you to optimize your firewall's performance. It gives you out-of-the-box compliance report for SANS, PCI DSS, NIST, ISO, NERC, etc. And these are some of the features of Firewall Analyzer that we covered in the previous session. And in today's session, we looked in detail about the VPN reports, in depth about the security analytics, traffic analytics, and also we saw how search reports can help you perform forensic log analysis. And finally, we looked at how alarm profiles can be created for various violations that can be triggered in your network. And finally, I'll also be telling you a list of firewall devices that our tool currently supports, and the list of features that we support for those vendors. Right. So if you would like to reach out to us, we are available in the email address that is given on the screen. You can even talk to us on the number that is given on the screen. However, if you want to check out our features, we have in-depth help guide explaining all of our features, and you can check them out over here. And we also have a community where all the network admins and our technicians come together to discuss network security issues and how to overcome them using our tool. So that is called Pitch Stop, and if you want to take a look at it, that is available for you as well. Right. So next, if we are listed on Capterra, and in case you are a prospect or if you are already a customer of Firewall Analyzer, we request you to give us a review on Capterra, and for your time and efforts, we'll be giving you a $25 gift card. And if you want to know more about VPN and how to get the best out of our VPN monitoring features, we have a couple of ebooks that are available on our website. So to get them, you can either wait for my email or directly Google fwanalyzer.com, and you will get all of fwanalyzer.com/ebooks, and you will get all of these ebooks free of cost. And additionally, we are also successfully developed a mobile app, and this is available on Play Store and App Store. So this is available absolutely free of cost. The only requirement would be that you need to have a current live setup running in your desktop, and you can connect that to your mobile tool and get all of the updated information on your dashboard view, which gives you an overview of your network security so that you don't have to carry your laptop with you every time you leave office. Right. So with respect to customer security and customer data security, we from management can assure you that we take customer security and customer data as top priority, and we make sure that it stays protected at all costs. So thank you for joining us today. I hope this session was useful. And if you want to stay connected with us, we are available on LinkedIn, Reddit, and YouTube. On LinkedIn, we share all of our ITOM related updates. So anything on ITOM that we develop or share or updates, we have it over there. And we are active on Reddit, and we also post a bunch of videos on YouTube, and this mostly revolves around how to use a product, and that is available for free as well. So our YouTube channel is Manage Engine Space ITOM. So if you would like to reach out to us, you can do so in any of these 3 channels.